What is up, everybody? Maximilian here with kind of a special set of videos, or a couple of videos. As you might notice, this is Ultimate Marvel 3 and you haven't seen it for a while. Big reason, and I kind of wanted to talk about it, was because, man, I have not had the chance to play Ultimate Marvel 3 in quite some time, and I definitely missed this game. But getting back into a fighting game after being away from it can either be a really good thing or somewhat of a challenging thing. So, to let you guys know, what you're watching right now is myself versus one of the best and, well, essentially one of the most successful professional gamers on the planet, Justin Wong. Now, I'd actually like to give Justin a huge thanks for letting me go up against him in these videos, because this was me after not having played Marvel in quite some time. Now, it's literally been, in the last 3 months, I might have put less than 6 hours into Ultimate Marvel 3. However, I have recently acquired the PlayStation 3 copy of the game, and I plan to get back into it a lot more over the next few weeks, and especially on this channel. What's cool about these videos is that, besides the massive slaughter that's going to be happening with them, I mean, granted the fact I'm rusty with Marvel, and Justin Wong is one of the best players there is, you're not going to see me completely beast moding on Justin effing Wong. It's pretty difficult to do in general, and the guy is just so good. You'll see some things like later in these videos where he just figures you out. I'm a pretty predictable player. I mean, that's the thing when it comes to these games. You learn how to be random and unpredictable in fighting games just the more you play them, and to make yourself more difficult to kill. But when it comes to a guy like Justin Wong, oh my gosh, it's just insane to see the amount of stuff that he's able to figure out every moment and second during these games. Nonetheless, you'll see me running my my basic team right here, and I wanted to talk about that, like how you get back into a fighting game and how you stay competitive. So, Justin here isn't using, I think, his main team. I'm pretty sure any of his main teams consist of characters along the lines of like Wolverine and Akuma and Storm. He's really good with those guys, but he is using his secondary team, which is Iron Fist, Felicia, and Spider-Man. He has been talking about using Spider-Man quite a bit, so I don't know if there's been much footage, if any at all, of Justin using Spider-Man. So hopefully, if you guys are looking for some stuff, he does some ridiculous, inescapable setups, and there's not too many Spider-Man players out there, but when you do see it, it is pretty awesome. Nonetheless, hopefully you'll be able to get something from these set of videos besides seeing me get completely destroyed, like, for the majority of it. Although I do take a few games, nonetheless. I think there's that moment, like I was saying, where you're away from a fighting game for a while, or fighting games in general. I really had fun playing Marvel vs. Capcom, the original online, but Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and Ultimate just have notoriously bad netcode, and we were actually talking about this. I think Justin was recently getting back onto Xbox Live and playing a lot more, and he was saying how he sent me a message saying, oh my god, why is the online in this game so bad? And it really is. And here's the thing that you gotta kind of take from your perspective of playing online fighters, and I haven't had a chance to review Tekken Tag 2 or Dead or Alive 5's online yet, so go ahead and please wait for that, guys. It is coming. The thing is, when it comes to online and fighting games, you need to look at it in perspective. Most fighting games, when you're at a local connection, will run good. If you have a fighting game that doesn't run well on a local connection, you got a big problem. Especially for the fact with the majority of fighters, if you're playing somebody within the same state, it generally is pretty awesome, even for almost any fighter. Like Ultimate Marvel 3 and the original Marvel 3 run very well. I think I ran a few sets with Hans way back in the day, and it was awesome. It felt really good. Now, what makes a great online fighting game really good is not just like the online infrastructure. I'm talking about the gameplay. One of the most important parts is how the game feels in your hands when you play other people. It's not how good it feels when you're local, it's how it deals with lag. That's the most important part when it comes to any netcode of any game, is how it deals with bad connection situations or people from greater amounts of distances. This is why GGPO is really notoriously good, because if you get two people with both good connections very far away from each other, it can run really well, like extremely well. And that's the thing that is so important when it comes to fighting games on consoles. The big issue why GGPO is kind of difficult to run with like a lot of games is because I think it takes a lot of processing power is the thing. I don't know too much about it, but from what I understand, it is kind of CPU intensive. So when you get games like Ultimate Marvel 3, I can understand why they didn't put GGPO into it. But let's be honest, Ultimate Marvel and Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is one of the most intense fighting games that you can possibly play, and you have to learn how to block like crazy. I cannot believe I just won that one with Strider. He was practically dead and somehow made it through. Anyway, if anything, the majority of these games is me winning via Strider. But when it comes to like online fighting games and you're trying to determine like what is a good game to play online, it really matters how it deals with lag from greater distances. Now, as long as you have that perspective, You can learn how to get better at certain fighting games. Granted, when I jump back into Ultimate Marvel 3, I find it really difficult because I haven't adjusted to how the game plays online. A lot of it, when you're going up against the majority of opponents in ranked and stuff like that, isn't as much observation and ends up being prediction because you don't know exactly where they're going to go and you just kind of have to block and hope. That's crazy. When I was actually playing a little bit of Ultimate Marvel over the past month or so in a not online environment, I'm like, it's a completely different game. Like, it's so insane how much better it is. I feel like, you know, when you train up for football and you put all these weights on you to train up and you have to like run laps and do all this stuff with weights on you, and then when you take the weights off, you feel like, you know, you feel like the Flash, like Speedy Gonzalez, straight up, you can do anything and you're fast as hell. It feels like that. I feel like I'm able to block stuff. It feels so much easier. It's just, I don't get many opportunities to play in offline environments because of stuff, like a lot of things. I really enjoyed my time when I had to go to Revelations and to do commentary and stuff like that. I might actually make a bigger attempt in the next few months to try to get out to some local tournaments and stuff like that, especially Wednesday night fights. But for the most part, wow, Strider actually hit Spider-Man out of that. That's pretty weird as hell. But for the most part, I really want to get back into Ultimate Marvel. I've never claimed myself to be absolutely amazing at these games. The only time I was ever really good on a competitive level at Ultimate Marvel was when the game first came out for Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and I was trying to stay competitive. I won like a couple of local tournaments with a lot of the guys that are really big right now. And everyone was learning and getting good at the game. But for the most part, there's a challenge when it comes to like having life and priorities and where you spend your time and stuff like that. And a lot of the stuff ends up being like Los Angeles traffic and wanting to go out to tournaments and stuff like that. But I do want to stay competitive with this game, absolutely. And I think that's the drive, is how do you stay competitive? For the most part, I think when it comes to a situation like this, when me and Justin are playing online, we had this opportunity to try out a local connection, because Justin's in Southern California, I'm in Southern California, and I think he would agree if he was watching this. The connection we had with each other while playing these games was really good. So hopefully with that, it's an opportunity for myself to get a little bit better and get more competitive. Sometimes taking a break from fighting games is also really good too if you guys are frustrated and not having a very good time. But yeah, for the most part, hopefully a little bit of that information will help you guys out when figuring out like how you're supposed to take fighting games online, how you're supposed to stay competitive, and if anything, I can understand how a lot of people find it really frustrating to get good at these games sometimes, because it's hard with the online infrastructure and how much you have available to you at times. Look at Justin blocking all these mix-ups. My God. But you kind of got to do the best of what you can with it. And for myself, especially since a lot of people like watching Ultimate Marvel, I really do want to get back into it and use a variety of characters. I'm using my classic Team Assist Me right now, and it's just my most successful team, I believe. But I will definitely try to broaden the approach with a lot of different characters. Since Retro Assist Me is over, I finally have this opportunity to try to like get back into the Online Warrior for all these games and stuff like that. So no worries, guys. Ultimate Marvel definitely will not be going anywhere on this channel. It will be definitely staying, and I've actually made the Yo Video Games channel to kind of separate a lot of the other stuff that was on here, like the other video game stuff that takes up a lot of space, like the, you know, all the Let's Plays and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys enjoy some of these matches, seeing Justin Wong's ridiculous use of assists and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and break down some of these matches so you guys can see exactly what's going on and why Justin is so damn good at these games. So for some of you guys that might not know, Justin Wong is a multi-game world champion. He's essentially been playing competitive games for as long as I can remember. What's hilarious is that Justin is in one of the most notorious fighting game videos ever, the Daigo Parry video. And I remember a moment back in the day, this was like before I met Justin, before I was like some college kid. You don't really know people by like what they look like, because a lot of FGC members really weren't on like the internet or anything, so you don't know who they were. I remember like, that Justin guy, he's a turtle, how dare he? Daigo got him, he got him good, you know? And it's just ridiculous how you think of like people being like evil competitors. Justin Wong kind of had that notorious aspect to him, that he was a very defensive player and he did whatever it took to win. And that's the thing that he kind of took with him, is that over the years, when it came to a lot of other games coming out, he naturally goes to these characters that you don't even see that the fact that they're top tier early on. It's just that when he goes to them, he discovers the technology that becomes so ridiculously hard to block, so ridiculously good that it's not even the character that's top tier, it's the fact that Justin made that character so good. If he was to stick with something else, it would be amazing too. Now, don't make this seem like, oh, Max, you just love Justin Wong. What the hell is going on? Dude, his track record is amazing. Like, you can't ignore it. And I use this guy as like an inspiration when it comes to all these games, because whenever you see him play certain games like Ultimate Marvel 3 or even Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I remember a tournament when Justin was, it was a money match tournament of Justin versus, I'm not too sure who else it was, but he had to random 3 characters in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which notoriously has 75% of the cast is not good, and the other guy could use top tier teams, and it was a first to 10, and Justin took like half the games, which is ridiculous. He was using like Ruby Heart and Hayato or something ridiculous like that, and he was still able to do it. It's to the point where you have top tier characters in these games, and when it comes to what you have to do to win, a lot of it is understanding your opponent and predicting what they can do. And that's what makes Justin so damn good at these games, is that he's able to see what's going on and to analyze the situation. With myself especially, that becomes very difficult. A lot of players are very good at reading things, but they're not very good on the execution level. Guys like Viscant is a great example of that. Viscant's one of the smartest players because he's really able to visually identify what's going on with the opponent, what they're thinking, getting in their head, and stuff along those lines. This is competitive fighting games at a very high level, when you're able to fully understand all aspects of the game, the characters you're fighting, and you get this otherworldly, like, perception of what's going on. This is why I think fighting games are great, by the way, is because when you have a fighting game that you understand that much and you're using the character set on the screen, whatever game it is, it's like an extension of your body. It's like an extension of you when you're playing the game, and I think that's what makes it so great. So Justin's using an alternate team right now, a team that he believes that Spider-Man is one of those characters that can be much better than people proclaim him to be, and I actually kind of agree. Spider-Man can be rather disgusting in these games. At the moment here, I burned level 2 X Factor with Strider, because I believe that Strider on level 2 X Factor is really good in itself, and it gives you enough time to do an Ouroboros kill. That's what I've learned, like, to be more ruthless in these games. If I have Strider and I have X Factor and I have 3 levels, even though I have all 3 of my characters, I won't try to ride it out with the other 2 characters. I'll actually tag Strider in as soon as possible, pop Ouroboros, pop X Factor, and then attempt to kill the opponent with that before the end of the game. Starting off another match right here, Justin somehow gets grabbed at the top. He never gets grabbed, which is really weird. Wesker goes up, gets a combo, and the only thing I can do off of this is a mix-up. So here comes the Strider mix-up, but he blocks it. My mix-up in that situation was not too mix-up, but I follow through with my combo. That block string was not safe, and he goes for a reset with Spider-Man, but doesn't get it. Now, what Justin does with Spider-Man, and he makes it so ridiculously annoying to fight, because Spider-Man is really hard to hit in this game. In my opinion, that is. I actually am running Strider as an assist, which would normally get your opponent out of the screen, like, and out of the air. But in this situation, man, you've got to really just catch Spider-Man on a whim. And whenever his Spider-Man does well, that's just it. It's game over, because he can get you in a ridiculous combo after that. He's using that, I think it's called the Delta Kick with Felicia, because it's completely safe. Like, if you see Felicia players not abusing that, they probably should be abusing it more, because it's disgustingly good. It's really good. Even if you push block it, its forward momentum keeps going forward, and it's very difficult to stop. You might be able to learn a few things from a couple of these characters while playing here. There are some really good Iron Fist players, but as far as Justin using Felicia and Spider-Man, you'll see some pretty interesting stuff. And even though he doesn't go for a lot of ridiculous stuff, he does have a lot of synergy with both of these characters. Iron Fist notoriously has one of the best assists in the game in the hands of Justin Wong. One thing James Chen proclaims when we played this game with Justin a lot is that Justin is so good at using assists because of his experience with Marvel vs. Capcom 2, that you think the assist that he's using is so amazing that it makes it seem that way. Like, for example, Frank shopping cart assist is a pretty good assist, but in the hands of Justin Wong, it's like the greatest assist in the entire game. You feel like it's ridiculously broken, because his assist calling is immaculate. Like, where he puts the assist is a perfect opportunity to mix you up, to prevent you from doing anything that you need to, and essentially lock you down. And that's one of the things in this game that is really important, is the usage of assists and how and where you put your assists. So, with a little bit of that information, hopefully you guys can understand a little bit more what's going on with these games and what makes Justin so good. If you want to see more of me with Justin Wong playing out some of these matches, please leave a comment below or a thumbs up. As always, my name is Maximilian, and I'll see you guys next time.